ఇది పర్ఫెక్ట్ సార్ కరెక్ట్.
Yes, we are live.
Welcome. Welcome to the sixth day of the lecture series in the sixth edition of the My Bharat National Youth Campaign. I am Garv Sethi, a proud volunteer with Disha Bharat. Before we begin, I would like to share a glimpse of Disha Bharat's annual flagship event that truly embody our vision. Every year, January 12th is celebrated across the nation as National Youth Day, commemorating the birth anniversary of Swami Vivekananda. Disha Bharat has always carried forward Swamiji's timeless message, especially his emphasis on education, character building, and patriotism. To mark this occasion, we take this message to thousands of youth through a special 1 hour lecture series that inspires and uplifts. We also host intercollegiate competitions on themes related to Swami Vivekananda, our nation, and service to humanity, drawing enthusiastic participation from students who leave enriched and motivated. Another key annual initiative is our My Bharat campaign, which unites young minds across the country under the spirit of patriotism, responsibility, and purposeful action. This campaign has become a moment in itself, encouraging youth to think, act, and contribute, making Bharat a Vishwa Guru. And for today's lecture, we are honored to welcome Major Madhan Kumar, an alumnus of the prestigious Officers Training Academy, Chennai. Major Madhan Kumar served in the Indian Army from 2003 to 2009 with postings in Poonch, Jammu and Kashmir, Pathankot, Punjab, and Doda, Jammu and Kashmir. He took part in counter-terrorism operations with the Delta Force and Rashtra Rifles, earning distinctions such as Operation Rakshak Medal, Sainya Seva Medal, High Altitude Medal, Army's Commander's Commendation Card. He also contributed to Operation Sadbhavna, bringing electricity and development to remote villages in Jammu and Kashmir. After his army tenure, he built a distinguished corporate career in logistics and customer service with Coca-Cola, Warren Beverages, Nestle India, and Mars Chocolates, and later turned entrepreneur in turnkey civil engineering projects. Since 2018, Major Madan has been a geopolitical analyst, public speaker, and owner of popular YouTube channels, Major Madan Kumar and MMK, The Eagle View, where he shares insights on national security, defense strategy, and civic responsibility. He serves as General Secretary of Youth for Nation, Tamil Nadu and Puducherry chapter. He is a senior fellow at DRAS.in and is the founder of Dream of Defense, guiding aspirants for careers in armed forces. His volunteerism includes disaster relief, COVID aid, and youth mentoring. Major Madan's life reflects his guiding principle, nation first and always. Today, he'll be speaking on Operation Sindhoor, a sacred mission of national defense, a subject close to his heart and vital to our understanding of India's security. On behalf of Disha Bharat, I warmly welcome Major Madhan Kumar and all audience joining us for this powerful session. I welcome you, sir.
Thank you, my dear brother. Jai Hind to everyone. Jai Hind to all the Disha Bharati volunteers and students who are listening to this podcast. So, Operation Sindhoor is one occasion, a very rare occasion we would see in our lifetime, which essentially means our nation was under war for 3+ days, precisely 84 hours. Our enemy was very deceitful. They are very powerful in the sense they were backed up by China and Turkey. They had all the latest generation weapons. And it came in a time where nobody expected. Jammu and Kashmir, after the abrogation of Article 370, was limping back to normalcy. And from 2018 to 2024, if you see the journey of the 6 years, 25 till, we had record number of tourist fall in Kashmir. Kashmir was literally, it was more Indian than any of the Indian states. Kashmir was breathing a fresh air. and there was a solid nationalistic movement which was happening in Kashmir. And also, in the history of India, Jammu and Kashmir recorded a highest number of vote percentage, higher than many of the major metros here. They choose democracy, they choose the national path. And in the midst of this, 22nd of April 2025, we saw one of the most covered and brutal terror attack in the one of the most beautiful places in the world, I would say, that is Pahalgam, Baisaran Valley, where the three terrorists came from Pakistan. One of him was Musa, who's a regular Pakistani Special Forces commando, who in turn turned to be a terrorist of Lashkar-e-Toiba, allies the resistance front. So when they came in, they chose tourists as a target, unarmed tourists as a target. And when I say unarmed tourists as a target, it was all males, and who were specifically they targeted people who are not Muslims. Why this was done is to create a rift between the social fabric in India, to create rift between the Muslims and other religions of India. That's point number one. Second, the way it was done, it was a massacre. 26 people were shot dead, most of them point blank. And the way it was done was creating a lot of anger, lot of frustration. Those videos were deliberately allowed by those terrorists for rest of us to see. So the nation was in shock, anger, and grief all at the same time, and they made it very, very dramatic. In one of the incidents where a woman whose husband was shot dead, and she, out of panic and grief, cried and pleaded to the terrorists that shoot me down as well. Why have you left me? The answer given by the terrorist was, I left you to let you go and tell Mr. Modi that we have done this. So all this theatrics was done, optics was done to basically provoke India, create an internal rift, and also to make show the world that Kashmir is still an issue, Kashmir is not in mainstream, and also to create a clear divide between Kashmir and the rest of India. So that was the objective of the covered terrorist attack. This is no act of bravery, I would say, because three men with rifles, well trained, and on the other side, unarmed Indians, combat. They are not combatants. They are not from armed forces. So this was an absolute act of cowardice. So then we decided to have the meeting of CCS, the Cabinet Committee of Security. CCS is the highest security establishment of the country, which decides what to be done in case of such events. It's headed by the Prime Minister, and on board is the National Security Advisor, the Defense Minister, the Finance Minister, and the External Affairs Minister. So this is the core group which takes care of the security of our country. And on that day, Prime Minister was in Saudi on an official state visit. He cut short his visit, flew back to India. By then, the Home Minister already visited J&K, especially Pahalgam. Massive hunt operations were launched by Indian Army, the J&K police, the CRPF, the Intelligence Bureau, NA, or Special Investigation Agency started their investigations. So on 23rd of April, when the Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh ji met the Tri-Services Chief, so the word given by him was enough is enough. It's time for us to act. All the Tri-Services Chief said something has to be done. So we don't act in the yes, that something has to be done. We really don't know what to be done. So that's the time the Army, Navy, and Air Force got together. They had a meeting with the Intelligence Bureau, the RNAW, Research and Analysis Wing, the pioneering intelligence agencies of India. Then it was charted out a very specific plan to hit those terror camps of Pakistan, the perpetrators of terror, the handlers of terror. This is the clear objective of Operation Sindhoor. So the name was given by an army officer and two more Jawans who decided to give this military operation as Operation Sindhoor, because the objective of the terrorists was to wipe out the Sindhoor from our women's forehead, 26 of them to be precise. So we need to put that back, and that's how this military operation was named as Operation Sindhoor. If you could recollect, in 1999, when Kargil War happened, the operation was named as Operation Vijay, because that's the victory which was supposed to be achieve at any cost. And we lost 570 of one of our brave men, 1,200 plus injured, and we got back our Kargil Hills, the high peaks of Himalayas. And on July 26th of to July 26, 1999, we celebrated our Operation Vijay. Similarly, Operation Sindhoor was christened. So when we did our initial analysis, it was completely a game of chess. And kind of this was not to be told earlier because as it's kind of declassified by the army and the Air Force chiefs. I'm quoting their words out here. So it was a game of chess. This country, this rogue nation called Pakistan, is actually headed by a very rogue military general. His name is Asim Munir. So, and this nation also has a nuclear weapon, not one or two, it's 130. So we need to deal with it carefully. So the political leadership of the country gave a complete freedom to the tri services to act in a way and a manner which they have to, and to give something which is deemed fit. Also, we need to see a point that we are a growing, fastest growing economy in the world. The world is very uncertain. We call it a VUCA world, volatile, uncertain, and ambiguous. So in this VUCA world, we don't want to go into a full-fledged war, keeping the nation's interest first, which is basically our economic growth. Because we just recovered from COVID, all of us have undergone tough times. And this is a path trajectory, growth trajectory, where we just became the fourth largest economy in the world on the mission of national mission of being Vikshit Bharat in 2047. This divergence by our enemy, so doesn't need to be the bait which was given to us really need not to be bitten the way they wanted to. So we decided three things: a very precise, calibrated, high impact, non-escalatory military action. So this is the strategy behind Operation Sindhu. A lot of us ask me questions: why haven't we continued the war? Why haven't we taken the POK back? This is the mission objective. When you decide on some objective, your military, your political leadership, your external affairs all aligns together. All of it align together for a purpose. So just because we have achieved a major military breakthrough, a success in the fourth day of the war, it doesn't mean that we change our objective or extend our objective. We are seeing two nations which are at war, Russia and Ukraine. Russia being the second powerful military force in the world, they're still struggling to conclude this war, which is going on for almost 3.5 years now. We doesn't want to get into such a vicious cycle of war, compromising our economy and the larger mission of being Vikshit Bharat by 2047. So we decided to give them a very calibrated, non-escalatory, high-impact military response. And to do that, the targets were the terrorists, the terror camps, the terror infrastructure, and the handlers of the terror. So precisely, we took around 20 days to do the assessment, where all to hit, when to hit, how to hit, what weapons to be used, who will do that, what will be the plan of execution. So everything was calculated with surgical precision. This requires extreme amount of professionalism. This requires extreme amount of intelligence. I'll just put a thought to all of you. Just think of yourself as Pakistan for a moment. When you do such a dastardly attack on 22nd April, it makes a simple sense that I, as Pakistan, would have shifted all those terrorists to a very safe place where India couldn't find it. Everybody, every one of us in their place would have done it. In spite of that, our intelligence bureau, our RNAW, the level and the depth of our intelligence deep inside Pakistani territory, we got their pinpoint eight-figure grid reference. Where are they? How many are they? And what are they doing there? For example, we have hit very deep inside their territory, which is a place called Bawalpur in Punjab province, Jammu and Kashmir. To be precise, Marcus Subhanallah complex. In that, we did a missile strike. It's a 15-acre sprawling campus which houses the Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorists. That's the recruitment and training zone headquarter of the terrorist organization. We had precisely hit them in the second floor. If you would have seen the missile strike, it's available in my YouTube channel, WhatsApp, and Telegram channels. You can go and see that. It was precise to 1 meter. So a missile which takes off from India and which travels almost 275 kilometers and hitting with 1 meter precision has never been heard of. The American forces used to do it. You can see them on Netflix. A lot of documentaries are there. But India turned the world's attention. Why? Because the day which was decided was 7th of May, early morning, 1:23 a.m. We decided midnight for two reasons. We follow a dharma in everything we do as a nation, as individuals. So to that dharma, we didn't want to hurt the civilians of Pakistan. So to minimize the civilian casualty or to rule out the civilian casualty, we chose midnight to be the time of strike. India used modern weapons, missiles, and drones. The first time ever we are using missiles to hit our enemy, and also the first time we are using UAVs, unmanned aerial vehicles. In civilian terms, it's called as drones to hit our enemy. So it was very carefully chosen to do a very precise attack. In the meantime, ISRO, or Space Research Organization, had silently done a decoy move in our spaces. Our satellites, any satellite would undergo a maintenance period where the satellite is typically switched off, it's moved into away from its orbit, and then some certain amount of digital work is done in that. So India did that. We moved our satellites right in front of Pakistan, in over Pakistan. So Pakistan couldn't actually sense something of this sort is happening. And we also simultaneously did a lot of decoys, a lot of psychological operations. One of it is to show troop buildup somewhere near Rajasthan and Punjab. So Pakistan expected India to cross over the international border to launch a ground attack. They were equally preparing. They were pulling out their forces from their western border, and they started forward deployment in our front in the India-Pakistan border, and also in the top circles of the power, there was one news which was deliberately let out by the government as part of psychological operations, that India is assistant to do a counter attack on Pakistan. Indian military establishment is not prepared to launch a counter attack on Pakistan. This was deliberately leaked out, and Pakistan's intelligence agency ISI picked it up. And ISI's network of informers and their PAOs, Pakistan Intelligence Operatives. So these people also had few social media account groups in Telegram, in WhatsApp. Those groups were infiltrated, and we gave a different perspective of our military action. So Pakistan took the bait. They weren't aware of what is exactly coming. So their military general, the current chief of Pakistani army, Asim Munir, went into their bunkers. Their families were shifted out to UK and US. They were expecting a ground action, a massive Indian force coming inside Pakistan, and with an aerial support. This is what Pakistan perceived that India would do. But what rather we did was to launch a precise aerial attack via missiles, air-launched missiles, surface-launched missiles, and air-launched drones and surface-launched drones. All these four things are very new to the battlefield. In 1947, 65, 71, and 99, none of these wars we did this. So 11 locations precisely was chosen. And in the history of humankind, on a span of 100 to 150 kilometers of aerial space, 140 fighter jets, the military aircrafts were on air, close to 80, 85 aircrafts of Indian Air Force, and 40, 45 of 50 of Pakistanis. They came face to face. Even in Pearl Harbor, even in World War II, Vietnam battle, any of those wars which has been fought in the century or till date, uh, nobody has ever seen such a high-pitched air battle. And India did a lot of new innovations. What happens when youngsters like you compare an army or an air forces, you compare the number of airplanes with airplanes, number of soldiers versus soldiers. It doesn't work that way. It's not about the mission, it's about man and the woman behind the mission, precisely what India did. Out of the 2096 aircrafts we have in our Air Force, there are hardly 36 Rafales, out of which only 32 are usable, 4 are trainer jets. So we had only 32 4.5 generation fighter jets. Rest everything was outdated second and third generation fighter jets. In spite of that technical challenges, in spite of the procurement challenges we had, in spite of the engine delays which US is doing, Indian Air Force was geared up to fight with whatever they had with utmost professionalism and ingenuity. Tactical brilliance is the word which the military experts across the world says it, because there was decoy. All these aircrafts were airborne, and the first thing which they took out was those 11 terrorist camps. Pakistan immediately sent a massive amount of their fighter jets, their AWACS, to launch a brutal attack inside India. By then, we had a very strong multi-layered air defense system. So we had Prithvi air defense systems, pads. We had Akash. We had S-400. We had four level of air defenses, starting with L-70 and Zoo guns, which can take on any aerial target up to 3 kilometers. Then we had pads, Akash for up to 30 kilometers. Then we had 50 kilometers. Then we had S-400s, which were like 400 kilometers. So all these systems were integrated with a new integrated system called Akash Tir, which was completely designed by India. It's a software, I would say, a software brilliance. No other country in the world has such kind of integrated systems, because S-400 is bought from Russia, Akash is indigenous, BrahMos is Indo-Russia. We have missiles from Israel, Barak missile, and Indo-Israeli missile. So when you have to put together of equipment which are of various origins, it requires a lot of efforts and a lot of, I would say, brilliance. So that was done. So what virtually did was India did was, you'd have seen in all those Bollywood movies where there are multiple screens and the US Army controls those operations sitting far away. Precisely, this is what we did in Operation Sindhoor. It was mobile, it was virtual. You can operate from Kanyakumari, we can operate from Kashmir, we can operate from Arunachal Pradesh, and it operates in the own Indian system. So all these entire systems of tri-services were integrated. Indian Air Force took the command and they were commanding it. And that's how the air operations was launched. Pakistan launched a counter operation at around 1:35 a.m. on 7th of May. India Pakistan did a operation on 7th of May, launched a counter operation. When they launched a counter attack, India decided to hit them hard. So we took on their AWAC aircrafts. The air chief has confirmed that five of their fighter jets were shot down, including a covered, very highly publicized JF-17 Chinese jets. And we took off a Saab Erics, which is a 2,000 crore worth eye on the sky. It's called eye on the sky. We blinded them. Then after we hit their Chinese-made air defense system, HQ-9B, which they boasted that it is equivalent to S-300. We took off Chinese radars. We took off Chinese drones. We took off Turkish drones. Nothing could exactly enter the Indian airspace. So every move that enemy made was shot down. One of their aircraft was shot down in Akhnu, inside Indian territory. The pilot didn't survive. So after realizing this, Pakistan changed their strategy. They went in the way they always used to do. In Poonch and Rajouri, they started attacking civilian targets. Golden Temple was one of their prime targets, because if they hit it, they expected the Sikh community will get into a kind of unrest. There will be issues religiously. They took on a Gurudwara in Rajouri where they killed 10 civilians. Near to the place, there is a church. Its name is Immaculate Mary Church. They took on the church. Three children were killed and three teachers who were there were killed. So all these things were done deliberately to create unrest within the country. And simultaneously on online, in the cyberspace, in social media, they did a lot of propaganda operations. All of us who were involved in this haven't slept a minute in that night. We all were countering their fake propaganda. They kept on saying that Rafael was shot down, Indian woman pilot was captured, India's Adhampur base was hit, S-400 was hit. All those things were all propaganda, because narrative warfare is one thing which the world takes today. So one thing is winning the battlefield, and one thing is winning the narrative warfare. Pakistanis have invested quite an amount of money, around 2,000 crores, to run a narrative warfare. That's how we all got into a lot of misinformation. So apart from the India's military success on the first, second days, on 9th, 7th, and 8th of May, we ended up questioning our Air Force and what happened to Rafael. To our understanding, to make it simple, if you want your aircraft to be safe, it can never be safe. Even if you park it in a hangar, it's not safe. You want your car to be safe, your bike to be safe, it has to be in the garage. The moment it's out on the road, it is bound to have scratches. Similarly, out of 2096 aircrafts we have, losing one aircraft is not a big thing. It is bound to happen. Americans have lost 20 fighter jets, the best of the fighter jets, on the very first day of war in Vietnam. India lost more than 21 fighter jets in 1971 when we launched a war against Pakistan. So these things are bound to happen. Why am I saying this? Is because every one of you who are watching this show have a mobile phone, have a social media account. Every single post you have put has some impact either positively or negatively on the country. So be careful of what we need because we need to wait for the official versions. You need to wait for authentic people to confirm it. Losing aircrafts, losing soldiers is part of work. That's how the Dharma works. Nothing to be emotional about it. The ultimate aim is have we achieved our mission objective? On 8th morning, we completely achieved our mission. We communicated to Pakistan. We have hit you because of what has happened in Palgam. We have solid evidences to confirm that this was done by people from your land. So if you want to escalate it, we will escalate it further. Pakistan didn't relent. On 8th night and 9th, they launched hundreds of drones inside India. They started targeting cities all the way from Surat to Jammu and Kashmir, all the way to Uri. So the entire border was lit up. Indian forces were mobilized. Uh, I can reveal it now. Indian Army did a very strong strikes in Uri sector, in Pathankot, in Akunur, where the Pakistani posts were decimated, the drone brigades were taken off. Pakistan has lost more than 200 soldiers on day 8 and day 9 of May, but they failed to acknowledge it. The worst thing any country can do to its soldiers is to refuse the honor which the soldier deserves when he departs from, for the sake of the country. Pakistanis don't follow Dharma. They're very rogue army. They're cowards. So they proved it one more time during Operation Sindhoor, where they refused to acknowledge the sacrifice of their soldiers. So on 9th of May, the drone attack got increased. Jammu, Amritsar, Chandigarh, all these places were targeted, especially the Golden Temple. Indian Army immediately spoke to the officials of the Gurdwara. We moved our air defense systems inside the Golden Temple's complex, and our army air defense ensured not a single scratch on the walls of the Golden Temple. That's how protective we were about our religious sentiments when it comes to religion and people. So we safeguarded all our people. One or few drones which were shot down fell in few areas, urban areas of Jammu, but no loss of life. On 10th of May, or I would say 9th of May, late night, Pakistanis did something foolish and dramatic. By then, their prime minister, their deputy prime minister, their army generals started giving nuclear blackmails to India. We have 130 nuclear weapons. We will fire. We will take off Indian cities. We will kill crores and crores of Indians if India doesn't stop. This time, we didn't bite that nuclear threat. We said enough is enough. I would want to recollect something similar which happened in 1999 when I was in college when Kargil war was happening. Pakistanis then also gave a nuclear threat through America. There was an American diplomat who was told to speak to India that Pakistanis are shortly going to launch a nuclear war on India. And then Prime Minister Vajpayee said, "You are because we didn't have a missile defense system then. If something is fired, we have to suffer the damage." Vajpayee said only one thing: if they fire, they have to fire one nuclear missile on us or try to do one nuclear attack on us. Next day, Pakistan will be wiped out from the world map. So we stood by it then and we stood by it now. The reasons why we didn't cross the LOC was again to keep the national interest first. We had a very, I would say, a very critical political situation. The governments were falling one after the other. There's a high political instability. But this time we are politically strong. There is a very, very stable government. People are deceived about the political leadership. and we are the fourth largest economy, and we are sitting with the highest forex reserve till date in India's history. $650 billion plus is the forest reserve. If India wants to continue Operation Sindhoor for next 2 years, we can do it. We have the muscle and we have the economic power for it. But we didn't want to do it. We didn't want to get into a long drawn war. So it has to be a non escalatory one. So that's how every action India did in off Sindhoor was very calibrated. We never hit their civilian targets. So what India did on 9th was one more psychological operation. Indian Navy, by then, did something which was never done by any navy in the world after Pearl Harbor, which is a forward deployment. 36 of our ships fighting war fighting missions were just 70 nautical miles short of Karachi. We had our destroyers equipped with BrahMos. We had our frigates, we had our submarines, we have our attack ships, attack boats, literally a mini, I would say, a battlefield. When we say about INS Vikrant doesn't enter a battlefield. INS Vikrant itself is a battlefield. So that's the massive power which India showed. The reflex from Pakistan is there. Not even a single ship or a submarine in Karachi port and the nearby port, they dared to switch on their ship. The moment it is switched on, it comes under the direct threat of being shot down by the Indian Navy. They switched off their submarines. They had their F-16s in Gavada. They had their F-16s in Karachi. They silently moved that out. They were just literally scared to their death. And they were just sitting tight and praying to their God that nothing should happen. This war should end. If India decides to hit Karachi, mark my words, Karachi would have been burning till date. So that's the military power we showed them. We never used it. If we wanted to use it, we would have used it, but we never used it. Similarly, Pakistan did the foolishness of firing a ballistic missile on Delhi. This happened on late night. They fired a ballistic missile. When a ballistic missile is seen in your radar, it means that the enemy has either launched a nuclear missile or is about to launch a nuclear missile, either of this. So this missile was shot down near Sirsa, a district in Haryana. Then after, Indian Air Force decided to speak to Pakistan in the language they would understand. Excuse me. So that's the time we fired on 12 of their 30 strategic air bases. Even in 1971, we have never hit Islamabad. This is the time we hit Islamabad, except Quetta, which is in the Balochistan province. Every single city of Pakistan was hit. Every strategic air bases of Pakistan was hit. The major one was Jacobabad and Bolari, where they parked their F-16s. The hangar is the place where the aircraft is parked. The satellite imagery shows half of the hangar is gone. So one hangar would typically host around 15 aircrafts. So we can be rest assured 6 to 7 of their F-16s have been obliterated, and one of their prized Eye on the Sky, which is the AVAX aircraft, that was also shot down. When this was shot down, the next major attack was on Noor Khan. That's the military base. If Pakistan decides to launch a nuclear attack, their fighter jets will take off from the Noor Khan airbase with a nuclear payload. We had hit the runway with a BrahMos. The intersection of the runway, the cross section of the runway, one runway which goes from east to west and the other one north to south. Exact intersection, a 30-meter wide crater. Their aircrafts could not take off, neither they could land. We had hit the air bases as deep as 230 kilometers deep inside our enemy territory. And in the history of humankind, India is the first country which launched a surface to air missile and took a target which is and took on a target which is 230 kilometers deep inside the enemy territory. The Americans have not done it, the Russians are not able to do it. So what I'm trying to say here, it's not about S-400, it's about the way you use it, it's about the tactical brilliance, it's about the man behind the mission. We precisely did that. Next to it is Kirana Hills, where they have a nuclear stockpile. In true sense, we have an agreement with Pakistan that we will give a list of all those nuclear installations of our country, vice versa, Pakistan will give us. They secretly had their nuclear weapons in Pakistan. They had their secret nuclear weapons inside Kirana Hills, but we decided to take them by surprise. In the sense, we decided to take their nuclear weapons off. When we decided to take their nuclear weapons off, it was shock to the world, shock to Pakistan and Pakistani supporters like China, where we clearly said we are going to not going to take it lying down. We are going to hit you really hard where it matters. Precisely that was done. We had hit their nuclear bases. India is the first country in the world which hit a nuclear base of a nuclear nation. You would have seen Russia, Ukraine. Nobody has ever dared to touch Russia's nuclear weapons. No, America. We have seen Britain. None of them have ever done it. America did it later in Iran, but we are the first country in the world which did this. This requires extreme amount of political willingness, extreme amount of tactical brilliance, extreme amount of military professionalism. We had all these three. That's how we were able to take on the Newcon military base at the midnight of early morning of 10th. One more attack was launched on, I would say we served breakfast on 10th morning and the lunch was served at 12. One more airstrike by the Indian Air Force, 30 BrahMos was fired. And by 1 p.m., Pakistan decided that if they continue this war, their air force would be seen only in the museum and they have nothing to defend their country. They came begging for ceasefire. They went to the Saudis. They went to Americans. Americans spoke to us. The American Vice President J.D. Vance tried reaching our Prime Minister. He refused to take the call. And our Foreign Minister Jaishankar told, yes, we have an established process of hotline between the DGMOs. Tell them to speak to us. Their DGMO came crying. He called us up at 1 and we said, we are busy. We'll come and speak to you post lunch. 3 o'clock, this meeting happened. Pakistan did an unconditional surrender, offered unconditional ceasefire. By then, this news was passed on to Americans. But 5 o'clock, Uncle Sam, Donald J. Trump pre-empted and he said, I have stopped this war because this man is crazy about getting a Nobel Prize. So he went ahead and announced the ceasefire. That was the one which was supposed to be announced by both the governments. But Pakistanis did a very bad trick, I would say. Post that, the comedy of the century started. They started taking road rallies. They started celebrating. And one guy, one country which has lost all the wars and a very unprofessional and a useless general, Asim Munir promoted himself as a field marshal. That's a joke of the century, of the 21st century. So after that, they tried doing some propaganda. We have shot down 5 Rafales. We have shot down this. They kept on saying that we have shot down S-400s in Adhampur. Eventually, Prime Minister went, he himself went to Adhampur. We saw those photographs where the S-400s were intact, our fighter jets were intact. All our fighter pilots were accounted for. So we had fired around 30 missiles. We lost 17 of our civilians, 8 of our soldiers and we pray for them. We salute their bravery. We pray for them. Eventually, rough estimate of how much did Pakistanis lose is close to 70,000 crore Pakistani rupee, or I would say around 7 billion US dollars because of this 3 day war. So 26 days of wait is what we did. A lot of people were angry. What is India doing? Look at Israel. Never compare India with Israel. Israel has an unlimited supply of weapons and money from American. Israel is not fighting a country with a nuclear weapon. Israel is fighting Iran's proxies like Hamas and Hezbollah. Israelis are different. Our security environment is very, very different. So I would summarize this in 5 things. It is about messaging. This is a sacred mission of protecting our Dharma. We never went and invaded a country. We never went and did terrorism in another nation. We never interfered in Pakistanis' growth and progress. We always wanted them to grow up. We have given them enough number of chances. You know, Lord Krishna says to Arjuna, you have done everything to bring in peace. They have not taken it. Now go and give the war they want. This is what precisely we did it in off Sindhoor. No more line crossing. There is a solid messaging to Pakistan, Pakistanis. This entire war theatrics, their tactics and everything was directed from the Western Theater Command of China. 81% of the weapons used by Pakistanis were Chinese, another 10 was Turkish. So we had sent five clear messages to the world. Number one, every Indian's life is accounted for. If you try to harm them, we will hunt you wherever you are. You are in Pakistan, you are in Canada, you are in America, doesn't matter. We will hunt you. This is a new India. Second message, we are not going to take any nuclear blackmail. One more time, if you dare to do a nuclear blackmail, we are going to take off all your news. Then after it will be a free walk to the Indian army. We can divide, split your country in the way and the manner which we want. If you would have heard the third message from the Navy spokesperson, the Navy DGMO, he clearly said, one more time, if Pakistan is there, they know what we are up to. He meant the 36 warships of the Indian Navy, which were just parked outside Karachi. Today, Philippines Defense Minister posted a tweet. Indian Navy is the only Navy which has got the funds to go wherever it wants, whenever it wants. All the Western navies do only theatrics. Our naval power is still not shown to the world. We have just shown the trailer. Fourth message, the blood and water cannot flow together. Indus Water Treaty is in abeyance because if you read the treaty which was done by then Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru way back in 1960s, on the goodwill, I am offering you this much. We were together, you want to have a separate nation basis the religion, welcome, you're gone. Now, because the water falls through us, we are in the upper stream. On the goodwill, I am sharing this water with you. Goodwill means trust. If you break the goodwill, we are not going to allow the water to flow to you. Even in 1971, we never stopped their water. We have taken that message very clearly. Fourth, Operation Sindhoor is not over. It has been passed. Any breach or one more Palgam you try to do, any terrorist attack anywhere on Indians, not only in India, across the globe, it will be considered as an act of war and India will hit you in the place and the time of its choosing. This was the message. And the message to the world is we are not the India which you used to show in the BBC documentary of showing a Dharavi and then showing snake charmers. We are not that. Yes, the British colonialism stripped us of our wealth. In 1947, when they left, an Oxfam Research Institute rough estimate says British looted $3 trillion from India. We started as a poor country. We all got together. Our forefathers, our fathers, they all stood. People in all walks of life, they have given their blood and sweat, built Bharat again, one more time. This time, we are not going to take anything which comes into the interest of Bharat. So the message to the world is we have arrived. Wherever you go, whichever country you go, take pride in saying that I am from India, I am from Bharat, and we have arrived. Because it has taken lakhs and lakhs of sacrifices done by your grandfathers, done by your fathers, your mothers, people like Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, who took this mission of having an integrated missile technology system for India. He is a visionary who thought about the country's futures. In a century, we will get one or two men, the God sent people. In 1984, he formed this vision of this integrated missile technology. 2025, after 41 years, we are reaping the benefit of Akash missile system. It was spearheaded by Dr. Prahlad Subbarao from Andhra Pradesh, who was then identified as a leader to lead this project by Dr. Kalam. We never used our larger strategic weapons like Agni 5. If you would have ever heard of Dr. Tessie Thomas, she is the mission director for Agni 5. Agni 5 is a ballistic missile, a purely Indian made, which can reach out almost half of Europe, almost half of Africa, entire anywhere in Pakistan and China. It's because of those missionaries we are safe today. Otherwise, if Akash would have not been there, we would have been bleeding. The drone strikes would have been happening not only in Amritsar, it can happen in Bangalore. We would have seen in Russia-Ukraine war 2 months before, Ukraine launched a dramatic military operation called Operation Spiderweb. They came 4,000 kilometers deep inside Russian territory in the Siberian end of Russia. They took off their fighter jets, right? So none of us are safe. The safety of this country is being taken for granted. In the name of free speech, we are free, we are free to abuse anyone. We are free to abuse our army chiefs. We are free to abuse anybody. This freedom has to be responsible. Why am I saying this? Because those visionaries are compromised or sacrificed their entire life. If you go and speak to Dr. Prahlad Supparao, 22 years of his life, he has breathed, he has eaten, he has slept, his dream, his mind, his everything is called Project Akash. In this, we have done wonders, the Yuva Shakti. I would want to quote an example of a company from Bangalore. They did something which is unimaginable. There is a gun which India used to use earlier, L-70, a line of sight. You have to physically see the aerial target, and it's an anti-aircraft gun. Those gun was modernized, fitted with a modern sight, and then it was put on use. That's how we were able to take all those Chinese and Turkish-made drones very, very cost effectively, not by using very high-end systems like Patriot or the Iron Dome system which the Israelis use. So that was done by a Bangalore-based company. We had Striker drones, which was co-developed by Elbit and Alpha Technologies, that again comes from Bangalore. We had stories like Assistant Commandant, Neha Bandari. Please Google her name. She, along with she is a very young officer who just got commissioned in BSF 3 years before. She was told to pull back from Aklur when the war started on 7th. Pakistanis did a heavy shelling, mortar attacks, artillery attack, and drone strikes. There were just 7 women in the post. They were told to withdraw. She refused to withdraw. She violated. She said, I'm not going to come back. This is the time which I have been dreaming for. I will hit Pakistan. I will fight the last woman, last bullet. She stood the grounds for 2 days. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls here, if you would experience an artillery shell falling next to you just 50 meters away, trust me, you will lose your sleep for next 7 days. These 7 brave young women of Bharat stood there, not only took the brutal shellings, they fought back, they fired with everything they had. They completely destroyed a Pakistani drone base, they completely destroyed a Pakistani observation post and killed 17 Pakistani soldiers. That's the grit and determination of young India. We are technically strong. We are mentally robust. We are brave by our birth. Just because we are soft natured, we we are a very hospitable people. We host people. We laugh a lot. We don't get into extremism. Doesn't mean that we are weak. This is the message we are showed to the world. We are arrived. Don't take us as a third world country. We are a very strong military power, and we have just started the military modernization process. Experts, military experts like Mark Spencer, to all the aviation experts in the world, are just wow struck with what happened in Operation Sindhoor. A country which has just started their military modernization, a country which is still 80% reliant on their foreign countries for their weapons, a country which struggles with a lot of bureaucracy inside, a country which has just started the self-reliance Atmanirbhar Bharat mission in defense, particularly just before 3 years. In spite of all this, we have achieved something which no other country in the world achieved. We started a military operation. Our enemies decided to escalate it. There are pressure from US to stop this war. We didn't listen to anyone. We started on our own terms. We ended on our own terms. We finished the battle within 84 hours. We made the eighth largest military power, a nuclear power, surrender in front of us. The enemy was strong. They had best of their weapons. They had a much better support from China, but we didn't bend. This is the new Bharat. This is the new India. On the 79th Independence Day, a day after we are going to celebrate. We have we are like a phoenix bird. We have risen from the ashes. In 47, two-thirds of our population were not able to have 2 meals a day. That's how bad we were. We had a phase of industrial revolution. Your forefathers worked 18 hours a day for 7 days a week. Then the country went into famine. We didn't have food grains. We have to go and seek US help. That's the time we decided India should never ever be dependent on any nation for food. We need to ensure our food security. We launched Green Revolution by then great visionary Dr. Swaminathan. We are food surplus now. We had infant nutrition, we had malnutrition, we didn't have enough milk. Then we started white revolution. We had great corporations like Amul came up. So we are milk surplus now. Then came 90s, your father's generation, where they went all across the world. They took on the IT. They became the IT brain of the world, information technology brain of the world. They worked in call centers, BPOs. They sacrificed their sleep. That's how the growth engine of India started propelling. By 2014, we were the 11th largest economy. In just matter of 11 years, we are the fourth largest economy. We have a national dream of being Vikshit Bharat. It doesn't mean that we become a capitalistic, chronic superpower like US. We will lead the world by Dharma. If at all this world has to ever live in peace, it's the must, it's the need for the India to guide the world. What we gave in the past 5, 6 years, just look back and see. Digital India, the entire ecosystem, the software ecosystem is being offered to any country which want to take it. We never charge anything. When the world is in the midst of COVID, we offered vaccines to the people in Africa. There are 54 African nations which nobody ever spoken of. We gave vaccines. We gave yoga to the world. We gave meditation to the world. So this is the need of a country to rise up in the global stage, not because we want to be the number one superpower. To keep the world safe and peaceful, India has to rise. The time has arrived. So from here on, I would urge my fellow citizens who are watching this video to be more responsible on few things. We need innovators. We need entrepreneurs. Any H1B visa is good. Please go to whichever country you go. Please go there, earn your fortune, but please come back to India. We need you. We need the things which are affecting us, brain drain. Yes, we are a country with chaos, no proper roads, we pay high taxes. It's all part of a family. We are one family. We are one nation. Never ever let any of the political or ideological narrative divide you east, west, north, south, caste, creed, religion. Never ever allow it. Stay together, united. Anybody who speaks separatism, practically look at the countries which are smaller in size. Countries like Bangladesh, which is much bigger, countries like Maldives, they have to either be in the Chinese bloc or in the American bloc. You don't enjoy your freedom. We are the only country in the world which is strategically so autonomic. We take our own decisions. We move the own way. Now you saw Trump putting us 50% tariff. We never budged. We are not going to compromise on 70 crore people's life, which is dependent on agriculture and milk sector, dairy sector. We are not going to compromise. We stood our grounds. We will stand strong. My vision for Bharat is live with you. By then, we'll all be old. Be rest assured. Don't get into the cribbing mode of life. My country, this is bad, this is bad. If Abdul Kalam ji would have thought this way, or Dr. Tessie Thomas would have thought this way, if the soldiers standing in the borders right now, the current time when we are speaking, the temperature in Kargil and beyond is -12. They never crib. Who will have to change? We have to lead the change. So be part of the change. Celebrate this wonderful nation. Let's all stay together, united. Let's all stay together strong and propel this country on four foundation pillars. One is technology, second is healthcare, third is defense, and fourth is our economy. With this, I conclude my speech on Operation Sindhoor. It's a sacred mission. It was meant for our defense. It was meant for Russia. The enemies came in. We punished them. We didn't kill their civilians. Now they have been given threatening us that we will hit your dams, we will hit this, we will hit that. Be rest assured, Pakistan does has around 36 dams, and if we are just shown 5% of our military power. We just use 30 of our BrahMos missiles, and we have another 2,000 missiles in our stockpile. There will be nothing called Pakistan left in map if India decides to. And those perpetrators who are supporting them in China, Chinese also have learned the story. There's a lot of Chinese born army which is happening right now because China too realized India is not a weaker power which they used to deal with way back in 1962s. We are a young, vibrant, and a new and a powerful India. Let's take this journey as Vikshit Bharat in 2047. Thank you all, Jai Hind.
Thank you very much, sir. So tonight you did not just narrate Operation Sindhoor, you made us feel it. We could sense the grit, the uncertainty, and above all, the unshakable resolve of our soldiers. Your words have reminded us that behind every operation, there are beating hearts willing to risk it all for the nation. The words said by you are remarkable. That Operation Sindhoor isn't just a mission, it's a message. You have sparked in us will, grit, dedication, and determination. Summarizing the entirely Operation Sindhoor in just 1 hour was remarkable effort, and you have brought us its essence alive for all of us. So we have a few questions from our viewers. So could I proceed with the questions, sir?
Yeah, okay.
Yes. So in the era of social media and instant news, what precautions should the public take to avoid compromising sensitive defense operations?
Everybody has an opinion. It's the Constitution has guaranteed us right to speak, right to express. But the right to express always comes with a responsibility, especially in matters of defense and national security. Please be cautious of what you are commenting about. When you see some videos or a postcard about Indian Army, Navy, Air Force, be sure that you verify it. I myself have done this mistake a couple of times. So the one I follow is any video or anything in the world of AI, anything can be made. One of my subscriber, he made a video about me. I was struck that I've been speaking, Korean so fluently. So don't believe in everything, whatever you get in your social media. Take pause, follow reliable news, follow reliable handles, and then react. Don't be trigger happy because every single post you do, the algorithm amplifies it. Either it affects our country positively or negatively. So let's be very careful about it.
Okay, so that was really precise. The next question we have is with respect to your career in the armed forces. How do you build trust and morale in your unit? Because you would have commanded various missions and in very much challenging environments. So how do you build the trust and morale in the unit?
See, three things work. Three things is basically what I would say. Number one is your team. You and your team has to integrate, and to that level, we all, yes, I'm an officer. I have jawans, but in spite of all that, we don't follow any rank structure when we are together as a team. So I'm a left-hander. Everyone in my team knows how will I hold my rifle. What is the good and bad thing about me when we are in a combat. Everybody knows each other so well. So for that, you need to interact. Unfortunately, in the social media era, even we don't call each other and wish our birthdays. It's just about HBD. So please come out of it. Have real human connections. That's one thing which I always, I mean, rather every single leader in the Indian Army or the tri-services does it. Second, the mission or the objective, the responsibility comes first. That's why I always say nation comes first. So we have a Chetwood credo. The safety, honor, and welfare of the nation comes first always and every time. The honor and welfare of the men I command comes next. My own safety and comfort comes last always and every time. You follow it in your everyday life, be it in a corporate world, wherever it is. If you follow this, your men or the people whom you are commanding will give their life for you. It's not by orders we win. In that case, Kargil, anybody would have come down. It is for the Naam, Namak, and Nishan. My country, my regiment's flag, my battalion's flag, and the history behind it. So I have to put myself in the last. So in the common thing which you see in the Indian Defence Forces is the leader always leads. We don't sit behind and tell order things to do. It can be done, but we always lead. That's why in each and every war you would see highest number of offshore casualties in the forces. That's because we are tuned and we have been trained to lead. So I always say your team comes first. You have to be gelled and integrated with your team. Your mission comes second. The purpose of you existing as a manager, as a soldier, as a leader, that comes second. And third, I would say the sense of responsibility. Because at the age of 23, the nation has given you a very big responsibility of shouldering the national defense on your shoulders. That's really big. So all the three things makes an Indian Army soldier what he is.
Yes, sir. So, the final question I would like to ask is what is the message do you want to give to the upcoming generations and students regarding patriotism?
See, I wouldn't agree with the word called patriotism. Those are all Western culture, nationalism, patriotism, the Western words, I would say. Love your nation because this is where we belong to. Whatever good and bad, or whatever, wherever we are today, whatever I am here today, this nation has given me. Everything. Second, don't crib about the nation. When you go abroad, go to Europe and come back and say, my country is filth, my country is that, my country is that. Try to think what you can do about it. Try to be the change. Try to be the leader. Third, don't become the coding machines for the Western world. Think, be innovators. We want you to be innovators. We want you to be entrepreneurs. And I also request the parents to let your children allow to do that mistake. You may fail once, you may fail twice. I started my entrepreneurial journey when I'm 40, right? It's never too late. Fourth, the one thing which is good and bad for your generation is the social media. On average, Indian uses around 5 to 6 hours of his day or his or her day in social media. We can use it for studies or we can keep scrolling the whole night. I would say be aware of the algorithm of social media, limit your presence, use it for constructive purpose. Entertainment, take it offline, go for a trek, be physically active. And your generation also, either they are overdoing things in terms of physical activity, getting into crash diets, and a lot of bad things are happening at the gym, or you become couch potatoes. Neither of it is good. 30 minutes of sweating every day is mandatory for a human being. So focus on your health. You got, see, understand, the generations of 80s had a very different struggle, bread and butter. Today, we are the fourth largest economy. You have a very solid base. You have the luxury to fail. So please use this positively. Even if you go abroad, work there, make a fortune, learn all the good practices, think globally but act locally. Come back to India. I'll tell you one thing as the entrepreneur myself, which is a very short journey which I started. No other country would give you a business growth which this country can offer you. So even if you are looking at things selfishly, learn things, come back to India. Technologies, disruptive or game changer. I would always suggest you to make technologies which are game changers. Disruptive technologies are good, but it cannibalizes the thing. Blinkit is good, but Blinkit cannibalizes thousands of retail Kirana shops. Okay, think of ideas, think of innovations which are game changers, which gives this country that wonderful technological lead. Americans invented triple W. They got a technological lead. Americans went ahead with Chat GPT, one more technological lead. So think of those things. It is possible for us to do it. We have such a strong success stories within our country who can tell you, who can guide you. You are at the right place, right time. All you need to do is to focus clearly on the objectives of yourself, your family, and your country. If you align this all three, I'm sure we would be the first largest economy with less rich poor parity even before 2047. Good luck to all of you.
Thank you very much, sir. This was really inspiring. It's been an absolute honor to have you with us. And on behalf of the entire Disha Bharat family, I extend our deepest gratitude to you for so generously sharing your wisdom, your experience, and your vision. What you gave us today was not just a session, it was a heartfelt call to live with discipline, courage, and a deep sense of duty to our motherland. You reminded us that protecting our nation is not just the job of our soldiers, it's a responsibility that belongs to each and every citizen. At Disha Bharat, we live by the vision know yourself, your country, and know your culture. And today, you have brought that vision to life in the most powerful way possible. And with that, we wrap day 6 of the My Bharat lecture series. But our journey together is far from over. Tomorrow, we are in one of the most real treat. We'll be joined by the illustrious Srimati Vishaka Hari, a celebrated Carnatic music vocalist who will speak on footprints of India's soft power and its global impact. It's going to be an evening of rich culture, deep insight, and inspiration you won't want to miss. So mark your calendars, spread the word, and join us again tomorrow at the same time, right here.